Am I a human? Am I divine? Am I an alien? There's a collective identity crisis as a species right now. Not only as a species, but also the roles that we've played. Hello, welcome to the June 2023 Oracle Report. I am Zaia, the Oracle, and I'm excited to bring the update live from Malibu. Very excited for this month's update because it is all about deepening your sense of self and deepening in your divine identity. There's a big collective identity crisis that I've been sensing. Am I a human? Am I divine? Am I an alien? There's a collective identity crisis as a species right now. Not only as a species, but also the roles that we've played. Am I a student? Am I a teacher? Am I a priestess? Am I an oracle? Am I a boss? Am I an employee? And am I an entrepreneur? Am I a mentor? Am I a mother? Am I a friend? These roles that we've played, these identities that we've held, we're seeing where that's really confined our expression and where that has limited our full divine embodiment. And so what I see happening right now as we've been going through this big cellular restructuring and this very internal period of transformation, in June right now, I'm sensing a deepening in our divine identity and a deepening in our sense of self beyond the roles that we've played, beyond the labels that we've identified with. Even if those labels have been very true for you and they helped you articulate who you are in the world, they've helped you relate to people, they've helped you express who you are in words that people can understand. Well, right now, the parts of ourselves that are wanting to express might not have labels. They might not have words that people understand. It's new. It's outside the box of what we know to be true. It's outside the box of the roles that we've agreed to play. And this is really exciting, but it can also be nerve-wracking for people because as we let our roles dissolve, like for me, who am I without being the oracle? Who am I without being a mentor? Who am I without being a leader or a spiritual teacher? Who am I outside of those roles? There's so much of my identity that's been constructed within my own mind of who I am within these roles, within these titles. And the invitation right now is to let all of the titles dissolve. Let all of the roles dissolve and then sit with who you are without them. Sit with who you are as a divine human being and allow more of your expression to come online and be embodied outside of those constructs. Because a lot of what's happening right now is more of our higher self is starting to anchor more deeply in our body. But its expression does not fit within the mold of the boxes that we've been playing in. And so it is requiring a lot of our perceptions of ourself and our ideas about ourself and the roles that we've played and the titles that we've identified with to completely dissolve and let ourselves be and express outside of them, because what we're here to do next and be next and create next does not fit within the mold, does not fit within the titles, does not fit within the roles that we've played. It doesn't mean that I will no longer be an oracle or that I will no longer be a spiritual teacher. But there's more that wants to come through and be expressed that is too confined by those titles and by those roles to come through clearly. What wants to come through next for us would have to morph and shape shift and contort to fit within the labels that we've identified with. So we've got to let them dissolve completely to let the next version of ourselves birth. And we've been in this internal season of transformation when we begin to look at the collective agreements that we've been operating within, the collective agreements that govern our reality and the way that we experience the world. As we start to see these collective agreements, we then see where we can begin to operate outside of them. Some collective agreements, the agreement that the government has our best interest at heart. We all agree that the people in positions of power have our best interest at heart. Well, I think we're all starting to see that that is not the case. But that's an agreement that a lot of people operated under for a long time, and we see how that power can be manipulated and how we can be controlled when we blindly assume that this position of power has our best interest at heart. Well, now we're seeing that that's not totally the case. A lot of people in positions of power, I don't even feel a heart connection at all. So if I don't even feel their heart, then how could they have my best interest at heart? They don't even know me. So as that starts to crumble, we realize, oh, wait, I can see where I've given my power away to an authority that isn't the true authority. The government is the authority. The police are the authority. These established structures, the teachers are the authority, rather than the divine authority, our sovereign authority as a divine being in a human body living this multidimensional experience. We are our own authority. Source is the authority. God is the authority. Spirit is the authority. That's an example of a collective agreement that is shifting. And can we see how letting go of that collective agreement and opening up to something that feels more true opens up more of our expression, opens up more possibility, opens up the field of pure potentiality for us all to create together. As we dissolve some of these identities and titles and labels that we've been operating within, and we begin to express ourselves outside of them, well, now a lot more people are holding a broader vision for the world that we want to create and the world that we want to live in. If I don't want to operate under this collective agreement, if there's some authority outside of me that makes rules that I follow, and instead I operate under the agreement that I am a divine human and I trust God to flow through me, and I take inspired action from that place, holding a vision of heaven on earth, and there's more of us doing that. There's more of the collective consciousness holding a joint vision, and that's how we see each other. That's how the collaborations happen. That's how we see, oh my gosh, we all have these different skill sets and expressions that can work together in harmony to create this shared vision. And so there's this big creation energy that's happening, and I'm seeing where a lot of people have felt kind of blocked creatively. I've been burnt out. Like, I want to unplug from everything and take a break and then allow the next creative wave to come through. And I've talked to a lot of people in a similar position where we're kind of pulling back a little bit and just tuning in a bit of a void space, and then waiting for that next creative wave to come. And that's a safe place to be. Wherever we seek safety, we are operating within the matrix of the fear paradigm. Wherever we seek safety, we can locate the fear paradigm within us. And that is showing us where we can dissolve some beliefs and anchor a sense of safety in something less transient, more permanent. Anchor our sense of safety in our divine identity. Anchor our sense of safety in our divine identity, because it is your divine identity in human form that gives us the broadest range of expression, and that allows the next version of ourselves to be born and to step forward in the world, and then really click in with the people that we're here to co-create with and collaborate with. I feel like a lot of people on this spiritual path have been working pretty isolated and alone, kind of on our own journey, on our own path, doing our own thing. And now we're at a point where a lot of us have established that within ourselves. And now it's time to connect. Now it's time to collaborate. Now it's time, because we know who we are, to bring that together with other people to co-create something bigger than we could do alone. But those people clicking in to co-create and collaborate together are coming together with a common divine identity. That's the common denominator. And so there's a different focal point. There's a different energy that's magnetizing us together. And it's coming from a more grounded, pure place where so much more possibility is available for us. Deepening our divine identity. There's this really big sense of deepening our divine identity. And parts of our higher self, our infinite nature, are really ready to express through us. But it hasn't really been able to within the roles and the labels and the titles that we've played within. So our pure soul signature, our pure essence, has really only been able to express through these certain labels, through these certain identities, through these certain mental constructs or beliefs about who we are and what we're here to do in the world. And what's next doesn't fit those constructs. So we have to let them dissolve. Not to say that they're gone forever. I am an oracle. I'm sure I will continue to play the role of oracle. I'm a spiritual teacher. I'm sure I'll continue to play that role. I'm a friend. I am a daughter. And what's next? This portion of our divinity that's wanting to be embodied and to be expressed in the world cannot be contorted to fit in those labels, in those constructs. We have to just let it all go and learn how to be this next version of ourselves, because it's nothing new. It might be new to our human, but it's nothing new. This is just who we are. But we're gonna learn how to be this next version of ourselves, not through the mind, but through the body. We just have to get out of the way and let it express through us. And in that process, we will see where we carry self-judgment or where we fear judgment from others. Usually when we fear judgment from others, there's a place where we judge within ourselves. I'm very much a hermit. I'm very much an introvert, and I'm very comfortable there. And just being here in Malibu with two friends and peers who I love dearly, I feel so seen and heard and safe with. We get each other both on a human level, on a psychic level, where we can really vibe, you know, like it's a safe, open space. And I've really been seeing where I carry my own self-judgment, where I project my own self-judgment onto them and worry like, ooh, why am I doing this? Or I'm questioning myself. I'm questioning things that I do. I'm questioning certain habits that I have. And I'm noticing a judgmental voice in my mind of like, why are you doing that? Is that okay? Where's that coming from? That's different than these other people. I'm just noticing simply by being around other people who will naturally be a mirror for me, noticing my own self-judgment. And that's really powerful because our self-judgment or judgment period is usually one of the biggest mental frameworks or constructs or limiting beliefs that suppresses our divine expression. So our true divine essence and our divine identity hasn't been able to fully express through us, again, because of these labels, these titles, these roles that we've played. And these previous identities really contort the pure essence of what wants to be expressed through you. This is where the human and the divine are integrating a lot deeper. So we have to just get out of the way. We've got to get out of the way and let ourselves play in the unknown. We have to let our mind be blown. So many people are like, oh yeah, blow my mind. Let me blow my mind. I want a mind-blowing experience. Well, you say that until your mind is really blown and now you don't have any mental beliefs or understandings or know-how to hold on to. There's nothing in the mental field left to hold on to for safety because you're in the unknown. So if you want your mind blown, great. And do you feel safe there? Can you rest easy there? Can you rest easy in not knowing? Can you rest easy in not knowing how it will be received or perceived or what it's going to look like or how it's going to come to be? Can you rest easy in the void space of the unknown? And remember that the void space of the unknown is the womb of creation, is the space of pure potentiality. The unknown is where everything and nothing exists at the same time. The unknown is where magic and synchronicities and miracles happen. Can you feel safe there? Can you rest easy there? Can you truly let your mind be blown and let your mental beliefs and perceptions and meaning formulas and judgments, can you let them go? Easier said than done. Because what is coming next for us, we don't have a mental framework for. It doesn't exist yet. It does not exist. As we let our divine identity express through our human bodies, we get to learn through the body how that animates us and what it looks like. As we observe it, then we can make thoughts or judgments or mental frameworks about it or around it. But to begin, there's nothing there. There's no construct, there's no framework, there's no mental understanding. The mental understanding comes later. So notice where you try to secure an outcome. Notice where you're like, yeah, I'll do that if it's moving in this direction, or this is what I want it to look like. I'll show up fully embodied in my sex magic channel in front of strangers if someone has a mind-blowing experience, if someone receives a big healing, if an opportunity arises from it, if there's an outcome. That's not the way to do it right now. I see that very similarly to approaching sex or intimacy with an outcome in mind. I know that when I'm intimate with somebody, the moment it moves from a body, heart, and soul connection into the mind, I feel it. Whether it's me going into my head or my man going into his head, I feel it. And then I no longer feel the connection. And then I'm in my head instead of in the body. I can feel it when a man sexually or intimately is directing it towards an outcome. You want to get to the orgasm. You want to get to the penetration. You want to get somewhere with it. Well, that immediately takes you out of the moment and out of the pure expression that's being shared, that's coming through. It takes you out of the moment and into a projected future that you're then trying to get to. That is not the energy of creation. That is not the energy of letting the divine animate you and letting God, source, create through you. That will block your expression. Because now you're thinking about how to do something to get to a certain goal instead of allowing yourself to be in the moment and surrender to what is right now. So what I'm also seeing a lot of is DNA. I've been tuning into a lot of DNA and DNA expressions, different genetic coding in the DNA. Because as we talk about divine identity and divine expression and God expressing through us and letting go of what that looks like and letting it be what it is, that relates to parts of our DNA expression coming online. There's divine DNA expressions that are turning on because we are going through an evolutionary leap as a species, not just evolution of consciousness, evolution as a species. Our light bodies are evolving, our genetics are evolving, our bodies, our intuitive technology, our light body technology, our minds, our beliefs, our emotions, our expression, everything is being upgraded. It's evolving. It's evolving. And part of that is this divine DNA expression. We have divine expressions of our DNA that have been dormant, that have been, we'll say dormant. Scientists call this junk DNA. It's seemingly invalid or unuseful. From my experience and perspective, that is untrue. It is useful, it's just dormant. And so a lot of that is coming online, and a lot of that will be happening spontaneously. I know in my work, I'm doing a lot of DNA activations for myself and clients, especially in Mastermind. And this is also happening spontaneously for a lot of people because of the frequency work that we've been doing, the inner healing work that we've been doing, the clearing and the shifting and the internal work, really facing ourselves and confronting ourselves and maintaining our energy, maintaining our frequency, really tuning into our energetic hygiene. A lot of us have been doing this for a while. And even if you haven't been doing it for a while, as you do it, you'll start to notice you experience life differently. And part of that is a result of your mind being cleared and being more receptive. But it's also a result of certain expressions in the DNA activating, because you are holding a certain frequency that allows for your body to hold more light, more wisdom, more consciousness. And so as your DNA comes online, this is like superpowers coming online. This is like, oh wow, I'm hearing things intuitively now, or I am now channeling quantum physics. That was me a couple years ago. It seems like it's out of nowhere, like, whoa, what is this? So know that that's normal and know that that's happening, and don't let that be a desired goal or outcome that you reach for. You might have a sense that there's more of me. There's more of me and it's not fully here. It's not fully embodied. It's not fully expressed. It's not fully online yet. Let that awareness be the opening that invites more of you to express through you, because you will experience life differently. When we get our minds blown and we're working outside of the mental constructs that we unconsciously opted into, the collective agreements of our world, when you opt out of that and you work outside of it in the pure unknown, that's when a lot of these big openings in the mental field can happen, because you're no longer caged. You're no longer stuck within the way that you saw or view or perceived things before. So remember that we are evolving on all layers: mental, emotional, physical, energetic, our light body technology, our infrastructure. I work a lot with architecting light and creating new light architecture that can then come into form in the physical world differently. And that is all changing. That is all upgrading. So your body might need different things. I know I talk about that a lot, so that's kind of old news, but still listen. Listen to your body and what it needs. Because right now we have an opportunity to blast off into the unknown, to step through the invisible curtain of illusion and step on stage and be seen and felt and expressed in a much bigger way. We have to let ourselves step through the illusion and see beyond it without knowing what that's going to be like. And that can be really scary. This is going to be where some of our deepest soul wounds are addressed. Likely the part of you that's wanting to be expressed right now is a part of you that has also been very wounded and has been kept under lock and key for safe protection, for safekeeping. Nope, I've done that before and that turned out really poorly for me. And a lot of this is going to be past life stuff. It's on a soul level. It's parts of your soul that are ready to be expressed. And that feels so intimate and so vulnerable and so candid. For me, the part of what's being called forward is a lot of my sacred sexual work and my tantric transmissions. And that is between me and God. That is between, me, and very few people have seen me in that expression. And that is what I am being called to share on a large scale. And to me, that feels so intimate. It feels like inviting strangers to come watch me make love to God. It's like inviting people into my bedroom to view my most intimate moments. And that's what it feels like. And so there's a lot of stories and fears and fear of judgment and not wanting to bastardize what feels so sacred, and also knowing that that's what's called for. So as we step into this next phase, as we step through this curtain of illusion that's kept us where we are, and we let ourselves step beyond it, not knowing what it's going to be like, not knowing who's going to see, how we're going to be felt, how we're going to be received. That is what is required, and it takes courage, and it takes a grounding in your divine identity to know that God is on your arm. You have a choir of angels around you, your guides, your soul council, your teams, all of your unseen support is there with you. And as we ground and deepen in that knowing, that is what can grant us the courage to step beyond what we have allowed to keep us feeling safe and cozy and comfortable in this version of ourselves and in this version of our lives. As we allow our minds to be blown open, as we allow ourselves to step into the unknown and allow our divine expression to really come through, we have a bigger field of vision because it's no longer limited by our beliefs and our perspectives. We have a much bigger vision that allows us to hold a much greater vision for heaven on earth, for the world we want to live in, for the type of communities we want to have, the type of families we want to raise, the type of dynamics that we want to experience in the world, the way we want to relate to money, the way we want to relate to our gifts and service, the way that we want the world to operate. We have a larger field of vision, where before we could only see through a peephole and we see everything that we hate about the world and how it's broken and it's repulsive and I don't like it and I want to opt out of the matrix. Well, when you opt out of the matrix, you're in a much bigger field. And so now we can hold a much bigger vision. And as more people hold this much bigger vision, that's how we recognize each other. And that's how bigger collaborations begin to form. That's how we begin to see ourselves and each other in our fullest expression as we're holding this bigger vision. And that's how it can come into form through collaboration and teamwork. And it doesn't feel so isolating anymore. Like I'm holding this vision for my life and I'm holding this vision for humanity, but it feels heavy and I'm holding it alone. We're not holding it alone anymore. There's so many of us holding this vision. And so it takes some of the psychic weight out because we're holding that collective vision in our collective mind field together. And we don't feel so alone. And we get divine reflections from the people that we're around. So when we start to fall back into limitation or into doubt or into judgment, it is so clearly reflected by the people around us that we see it and we come right back. We snap out of it and we allow ourselves to be in this big unknown space where magic happens. It's a really magical time. Like, it just feels very magical. Like visions that we've held for a really, really long time are coming into form. I'm seeing it in my own life and it is confronting. Another thing I keep hearing is free the frequency. And one of my best friends, this is something that we say to each other, Tina Rodriguez, free the frequency. Let it come through you, whether that is in dance or art or speaking or the way that you lead a team, the way that you show up to work, just the way that you communicate, you gotta free the frequency. Wherever you feel constriction about speaking your truth or embodying your truth or being expressed, this feels like the rise of the artist. Lion and I were talking about this the other day. It's like a lot of people are really being called to deepen and embody their artistry. And here in LA, I'm surrounded by people who are deeply embodied in their artistry, in music, in dance, in performance, and they're also highly awake and aware and conscious. They also serve as mentors and coaches, but they're not defined by those labels. And that's something that LA and this community is really showing me, a group of people that I've called in for a long time that are very deeply embodied and very expressed and very open-hearted, and they don't put themselves on a pedestal because they're in their brilliance. They're actually so humble in their brilliance, and that calls forth more of my own brilliance. It lights something within me that says, you are shining so brightly. I want to shine brightly. I see where I am keeping my flame contained and I don't want to contain it. I'm scared to let it out. I'm scared of the wildfire, but it's exciting. And I asked for this and now it's here. Will I take the opportunity? Will you take it? Because they're coming in. They're here. It's surreal. For me personally, this is surreal. And I'm trying really hard to let go of expectation and let it be what it is without it having to match my vision, without it having to linearly make sense of how it's leading to the thing that I know it's leading to. Let yourself be loved. Wow. Let yourself be loved. Let yourself be nourished. Let yourself be watered. Let yourself be received. Let yourself be appreciated. Let this be a celebratory moment of who you once were and who you are now. Look at your own evolution backwards and really relish in who you are right now and how far you've come. Not that it's some destination, but that this is a landmark in your journey. This is a landmark in your evolution. And look at how far you've come. And we're going through a next big leap right now. And you're gonna survive that too. And it's gonna be better than you could imagine. There are people in Mastermind right now that are saying, holy shit, everything is manifesting at once. The pillars of my life, friends, family, money, mission, like it's all landing. And I've also been talking to people, myself included, and some friends that I'm with here, of really being in this void space of pulling back and tuning in deeper before we kind of step forward or have that next creative inspiration again. Because like what you've been creating, or the creative inspiration that you've had, it's like it almost feels like it's at the end of its wave, and not that it's going to die or go away, but that there's a new wave coming, and we just need to kind of pull back a little bit and be one with ourselves and tune into this divine expression that wants to come through, and let that spark the flame within that then opens the creative channel and allows it to move through. This relates to erotic awakening and deepening your intimacy and your erotic nature within yourself, because that is the same channel of energy that creativity flows through. It's passion, it's creativity, it's sexual, it's erotic. So as we deepen our erotic innocence of play and wonder and pleasure, and this feels good, but it's so pure and innocent, and I'm gonna let that come alive within me, that's gonna be a gateway for unlocking your next level of creative expression. So let yourself deepen in intimacy with yourself or in your relationships, sexually, erotically, really tune into erotic energy and how you can allow that to animate your body more and allow that to open the creative channels that will provide the gateway for this divine expression to come through for you, and see what happens from there. This is a very exciting time. It's like the visions are meeting the real world. We're landing, and a lot has to dissolve for that to happen, and it's all gonna happen simultaneously. So get out of the mind, get into the body, enjoy your erotic awakening, allow that to open your creative channels in the right time as it's ready to do so. Step through the illusions of your beliefs and what things need to look like and how you might be perceived and your own self-judgment. Take the opportunities that are coming in, let yourself express in the vast unknown, and know that it is magic, and trust that it is magic. And know that everything is happening on your behalf, working in your favor, and that it can be better than you can imagine as long as you choose it to be so. Enter the room like God is on your arm and know who you are and let it all come through. This one is very specifically for me. I'm in Malibu. I have opportunities coming in that I've seen coming in, like it's all unfolding. It's all unfolding. And I just have to say yes. And we just have to say yes. So notice where you like keep putting your dreams, you keep kind of pushing your dreams out. Yeah, I want it, I want it, I want it. Over here, over here, over here. And notice how you respond when it starts coming closer. Are you like, yes, it's here, diving in? Or are you like, oh, wait, am I ready yet? Can I do this? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And it's time. And it's probably gonna look different than you have in mind. And I keep trying to find safety within myself with that. It doesn't need to look any certain way, and that's okay. Let it surprise you. There's this element of surprise. And some people love surprises. Some people hate surprises. I love surprises, assuming it's a good surprise, you know. Let your childlike wonder and curiosity really lead here, and let your innocence really come out to play, because that will create the path of least resistance for these expressions, for your divine identity to deepen within you, to let God animate you, and let the magic happen. Let the magic happen. Thank you for joining me here in Malibu. Take a look. I hope the sound is okay. There's all kinds of yard work going on. But cheers. Happy June. Any announcements? We have been working for a while on a quiz that helps you tune into your dormant soul power. It is a quiz to help you locate your dormant soul power and give you a lot of insight about what it is, why it's dormant, what's keeping it dormant, and then how to turn it on, how to start accessing that power to bring it online. And that is needed. That is needed right now, because there's things happening in the world that our magic is required for. As new worlds are being created, as we are creating the world we want to live in, our full power needs to be embodied. And so it's really important that we learn how to access our dormant power and see where that is, and then know how to turn it online. So I invite you to do the quiz. As it's ready, we'll link it below. Another way to really help you through your evolution is to join the Oracle Collective membership. This is my go-to place. It is divine guidance on demand. Healings, journeys, activations, live channeled transmissions. We do monthly calls together. There's a beautiful community that's budding there. And it's a really powerful way to access your own innate wisdom through a guided experience. So that if you need to look at what identities are coming through for you, you can do a guided channeling journey called, I think it's called Identity, and see what identity is dying and what identity is emerging. There are a lot of journeys in the Living Library, which is a part of the Oracle Collective membership, that would really support us during this time. And I'll link some of them below. One of them is the guided identity channeling. There are a couple inner child healings that would be really good when we're looking at erotic expression or divine identity, really speaking our truth. Some of those would be really helpful. There's a ton in there, and we do live monthly channeling call transmissions on a certain topic of the month that's coming up for everybody collectively. So I would love to have you there. It really helps you do the frequency work to anchor your pure frequency so that you are in your full power. Your gifts can come more online. You can deepen in your own mastery, whether you're new on the spiritual path or a seasoned healer. This is for you. So I would love to have you. The link is below. I would love any comments on this, how this is landing for you. I love reading your comments. Share this if you think somebody else would benefit from this transmission, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.